Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Coco Gauff discloses the secret benefit she has received that will be very important at the Montreal Open. Coco Gauff is preparing to return to tennis next week, as the top seed heading into the Canadian Open. After all, with Aryna Sabalenka absent, it marks a huge opportunity for someone other than the Belarusian to win at least this hardcourt event, given she is the reigning champion in Cincinnati and New York. Given how poor she was during last year's North American swing of the tour, the 21-year-old will be hoping she can start this leg of the season well in Montreal. Speaking to the press upon returning to the event, she sought to preview the event, outlining the trouble that transitioning from different surfaces can cause. However, there's a secret she was keen to tell that other players might not agree with. Coco Gauff previews her return to the Montreal National Bank Open. The top-ranked American will naturally carry the burden of expectation once again heading into this portion of the tour, although this is a sensation that is not new to her. 4 years now, this youngster has had pressure heaped upon her young shoulders, and yet time and time again, she delivers. This year it came at the French Open, and in 2023 it was the US Open. Slowly, Coco Gauff is putting together a lasting legacy that will be remembered for decades to come. Her experience on the clay this year was so transformative that she is even suggesting that it will remain useful now, despite playing on the Canadian and later American hard courts. She told reporters at the Canadian Open, "The secret is in all the previous work, both on the court and with my physical trainer in the gym. The time on clay still has a very important effect due to the mobility that is needed to move well on clay. Tennis forces you to adapt all the time to new situations, so you always have to be prepared for those changes. So now my intention is to repeat the same move and have a good North American tour on hard courts." This marks the first time we have seen the two-time Grand Slam champion since Wimbledon, but her former coach has been rather vocal, with Brad Gilbert dispelling one rumor he heard about Jannik Sinner ahead of the US Open. Coco Gauff will be hoping to end Aryna Sabalenka's reign of hardcourt dominance. As touched upon earlier, Gauff will be one of many keen to end Sabalenka's reign of dominance on the hard courts. After all, were it not for Madison Keys' heroics in Melbourne, the 27-year-old would have won all of the last 3 majors played on this surface. However, last year in particular, she hit such a stride that made her practically unbeatable, winning the Cincinnati Open at a canter, before then crushing Jessica Pegula in the final of the US Open as well. It was a comprehensive few months, where Sabalenka cemented herself as the best player in the world. This time around, the atmosphere is different, given she has yet to win a major this year despite reaching 2 finals and another semifinal. Many believe that, for a change, she is there for the taking. Gauff proved this more than anyone in Paris, and should be confident in repeating that feat should they meet again over the next few months. Coco Gauff discloses the secret benefit she's gained that will be very important at the Montreal Open. In the shadow of Montreal's towering skyscrapers, where tennis greats have clashed for decades, a new chapter was about to unfold. The Montreal Open, part of the prestigious WTA 1000 series, had become a yearly pilgrimage for tennis fans, and this year, all eyes were on Coco Gauff. Still only 20, Gauff had already seen the peaks and valleys of a professional tennis career. A Grand Slam champion, Olympic hopeful, and cultural icon, Coco had done more than just fulfill her promise. She'd become the heartbeat of a new generation of athletes. But heading into Montreal, there was a certain calm about her. It wasn't bravado. It was deeper, rooted in something she later admitted had changed her outlook entirely. In a packed media room on the eve of her first match, Coco sat at the podium, her signature calm presence radiating confidence. The room was buzzing with the usual anticipation, cameras flashing, reporters flipping through notes. But it was Coco who broke the usual press conference rhythm with a statement that intrigued everyone. "There's been something I've been keeping quiet, but now feels like the right time. I've had a secret advantage this past month, something that's not about technique, stats, or equipment, but it's going to be very important here in Montreal." The room went silent. A secret? Tennis fans and pundits had heard of players using everything from visual training to diet changes to get a mental edge. But this was Coco, an athlete known for being grounded and authentic. What kind of advantage could she possibly be talking about? A smile tugged at the corner of her lips. She leaned forward. I've been working with a narrative coach. The phrase hung in the air, unfamiliar to many. "Eh, what?" a reporter asked, perplexed. "A narrative coach," Coco repeated. "Someone who helps me shape the story I tell myself about my journey. Tennis is a mental game as much as a physical one. I realized that the internal story I was carrying, the pressure, the expectations, the fear of failure, was quietly working against me. So I decided to rewrite it. The power of story. For months before Montreal, Coco had quietly collaborated with Dr. Lena Marquez, a former theater director turned sports psychologist. Instead of focusing on swing mechanics or surf speed, their sessions had focused on voice, vulnerability, and vision. She asked me one day, "What's the story you believe about yourself on court?" Coco recounted, and I didn't have a good answer. Was I the underdog? The expected champion? The kid chasing Serena's legacy? I didn't know. And that's when I realized I wasn't owning my narrative. In a sport where rankings, social media, and sponsorships often write the story for you, Coco had decided to flip the script. She's learning to play the match before it begins, not against her opponent, but against the version of herself that doubts, said Dr. Marquez in an exclusive side interview. Coco's newfound perspective had transformed the way she approached practice, press, and pressure. I used to walk onto court and feel like the crowd was expecting perfection. Now I walk on thinking, this is my story. I get to decide how it unfolds. The very important part. So, how does this secret weapon, this narrative coaching, translate to victory in Montreal? Simple. The hard courts of Montreal are known to be tricky, fast, yet responsive. Many players crumble not from the conditions, but from the expectations. For Coco, this tournament wasn't just another stop, it was a proving ground. This is where I want to test it, she said. Not just my backhand or footwork, but my mindset. When a match gets tight, when I'm down a set, or I miss a few key points, I don't want the old story to come back. I want to respond with resilience, not regret. Coco pointed out that in the past, frustration had sometimes sabotaged her flow. I'd miss a shot, and suddenly the noise in my head would get loud. You're messing up. Everyone's watching. You're not ready. But now, I recognize those thoughts as just part of the old narrative. What's the new one? That I'm here to create, not just compete. That my best tennis comes when I'm free. Tennis is art. With that mindset, Coco had also reimagined her relationship with tennis. Sometimes, we forget this is an art, she said. Yes, it's competition. Yes, it's grueling. But it's also beautiful. The rhythm, the angles, the movement, it's choreography. And when I think about it like that, the court becomes my stage. She cited her favorite players, not just for their achievements, but for their style. Federer was poetry. Serena was power. Nadal is passion. I want to be purpose. Purpose, not perfection. That was Coco's mantra now. And in a city like Montreal, known for its love of the arts, of performance and spectacle, that mindset seemed particularly fitting. The crowd factor. Another part of Coco's confidence came from the Montreal crowd itself. There's something electric here, she noted. The fans really understand the game, but they also embrace emotion. I feel like I can be myself here. Last year, she had been tentative, still learning how to handle the pressure of expectation. But this year, she arrived with a centered calm. I know the crowd wants to see fire, drama, triumph. But now, I realize they also respect authenticity. If I cry, if I scream, if I laugh, it's all part of the performance. And that's okay. A Montreal masterpiece? Coco's first match was scheduled under the lights, a primetime spectacle. As she warmed up in the tunnel, her mind wasn't racing with analytics or scouting reports. Instead, she repeated a line Dr. Marquez had helped her craft. This is the chapter where I rise, not because I must, but because I can. And rise she did. In her opening match, Gauff displayed poise and patience. Her footwork was crisp, her serve precise. But it wasn't just the physical improvements, it was her expression. Between points, she smiled. After unforced errors, she shrugged, exhaled, and moved on. No drama, just focus. She won in straight sets, but the score wasn't the story. The story was the shift in her presence. Did you notice? Her coach asked afterward. You weren't fighting the match. You were flowing with it. Coco nodded. I told myself, I'm not proving anything. I'm just telling my truth, point by point. Beyond Montreal. Whether she lifts the trophy or bows out early, Coco Gauff's Montreal journey has already marked a new beginning. Tennis, for her, is no longer just about winning. It's about reclaiming her voice. I've always been told who I am, by fans, by brands, by stats. But now I'm telling the world who I choose to be. That's the secret. That's the edge. And I think it's going to carry me far. She looked up at the stands that night after her win, the crowd on their feet, the lights bathing the court in a golden glow. And for a moment, it didn't feel like a tennis match. It felt like a story unfolding. One Coco Gauff was finally writing for herself,